Wayne World Podcast. You know what it is. We gonna get that raw. We gonna get that real, that uncut. For so. You know it's your boy AntMoe. For so. You know it's your boy AntMoe. Boy, don't act like you don't know we love God. For so. Chill. For so. Alright, man, let's get into it.
Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. It's your boy AntMoe, trapping out of Bendo. Let me eat with your big baby. And welcome to Wayne's Where's my middle name? Somebody. Shoot, we on episode 6-4. I don't think we missing anything else. Oh, we got Randy C in the building.
I thought you couldn't see me because I had my glasses on.
Oh, yeah, because your future's so bright, you had to put the shades on.
That way, man. Randy C, man. That's my whole name. Hold on. Wait. I got one question, bro, before we get started.
Not today, folks. Not today.
But the podcast is for the people, man. The people ask a question.
Once again, who are these people?
The Waniacs.
Okay. Since he called them out by name, you got to call them things out by name.
You better call it out.
What's your question, folks?
Come out of thee.
I command thee.
Hey, can we cuss on here?
You go ahead, folk. You know you got free reign. You got free reign. You got free will.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? The Second Amendment?
No, that's right to bear arms.
Yes, Ersky.
Get that man in history class ASAP.
Back to the Wayne's World Podcast, coming live and direct from the couch. You know what I'm talking about? We trying to create a new little feng shui or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? And for all the first time and casual listeners, you come on back round now, yeah. Show them boys how you do it up in Harlem there, boy. And for all you Waniacs, you know what I'm talking about? Was y'all really asking him if we can cuss on here?
They do be asking me that. I just be deleting the messages that they send.
You just be deleting it.
I can't show you now.
I love it from the bottom of my corazon. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey.
Heart talk. You know what I'm talking about? And so, for those of you who are first-time and casual listeners, you may be wondering what the Wayne's World Podcast is about. I'm glad you asked. Hold on, folks.
Oh.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to get this right. It is a safe haven for the believer.
Yeah.
Our mission is to water the world with grace.
Yeah.
And it is for the modern male believer seeking accountability, encouragement, and entertainment. Essentially, we like to talk all things faith, fatherhood, and manhood.
Yeah.
And so, once again, man, fine tuning. I don't feel like we need to change that anymore, but I want to make sure that we get it right. And so with that being said, we're at episode number 64. Randy C. Mays.
Wow.
How you feeling?
Man, amazing, sir. God is good.
Yes, sir. Listen, it's funny, man, because we kind of talked about it before, but it was even then still a different dynamic. But what is your vision been just as you've seen the podcast kind of develop with, adding you to it and, you know what I'm saying, just kind of knowing how God could use you through it,
right?
You know what I'm saying, and use this platform to be able to bless people.
Yeah.
What has kind of opened up for you in your mind?
Man, for me, man, transparency, vulnerability. Vulnerability. Man, all that stuff matters. Because at the end of the day, God has brought me through the worst times of my life, and I'm still here.
Absolutely.
So not being afraid to share it, you know what I mean? The vision has been, man, is that we continue to grow, that the tribe continues to grow, man, and that we just continue to help more people, man, because the DMs that I've seen, I mean, I can't believe that people get that much value out of us talking on this microphone for 30 minutes to an hour, man.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing. It's an awesome responsibility. It makes me want to be better.
Yes, sir.
It makes me want to study harder, study the word harder. it's amazing, bro.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
It's definitely a blessing, bro, for you brought me on here, bro. It's something that I never saw it being that you saw a long time ago.
Absolutely, dog. And it's funny because when I first started the podcast, I was just tired of doing and seeing, just religion, Christianity as usual.
Yeah.
We absolutely have to get to a place where we are able to be vulnerable and honest and real with people about where we're at, because we will never be able to get where we're trying to go without it.
Right.
And so I'm glad that we can say proudly, this is for the believer.
Yeah.
No, anybody can listen, but it's for the believer.
Yeah.
It's for the man. You know what I'm saying? And women still rock with us. Tanya, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, from your group definitely support that are women, and I'm grateful that y'all find value.
Absolutely.
So
God
we're
bless
thankful for that. So with that being said, let's get into it. You want to come back? Episode number 64. Heal for what?
Wow.
We're talking broken people, broken relationships. And the question is it your fault?
Wow.
Is it your fault? So what I've experienced personally, recently, and in my past is people that come from different backgrounds. We talking about just life. Some people grew up in the country. Some people grew up in the city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you had some people's parents, they were never around. Some people had both their parents. Some people experienced divorces. Yeah. All of these are different reasons and situations that make us look at life through different lenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is when you blame someone else, you blame me for the issues that you haven't dealt with in your life.
Wow.
We got to get to a place where it's not Anthony's fault that you still ain't got nobody. That the reason why you can't heal, why you can't get better, why you get in relationship after relationship and you sleep with this person and that person, that's none of our faults. For us to grow and mature as individuals, as human beings, as believers, we have to learn to accept our role in things and move forward to get better, because without that, nothing will ever change.
Yeah.
Do you have, and you can be as honest as, you can be as into it as you want to, but have you experienced somebody like that, or have you had a season of life that you lived in where that was maybe an issue for you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. It took for me, man, and going through a divorce. It took one phone conversation, one of my good friends, that made me just accept the my part in the divorce. Right. There's always two parts. I don't care who did wrong, right. There's always stuff you could have did way better. There's spots you drop. It's just what it is. It's the nature of it, right? Mm-hmm. But I remember, man, for me, and the reason why there's the reason why there aren't many who know the complete story beginning to end about my divorce is because I've literally been silenced about it. Right. I remember talking to my best friend about all I did in marriage and blah 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 and this, that, and another. And how I don't understand this, that, and another, how this could be happening and all this stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And the conviction came, though. But it's like, you mean to tell me that you, being a mere man, you did all this stuff for somebody and you thought it was going to equal this result? And the conviction is here, though. Nothing that we do as men or human beings, period, is ever going to trump down on the cross. Mm-hmm. And there have been seasons of life where we treat God and barely talk to him like Jesus didn't die on the cross.
Right.
So what can we do to or for a spouse that can be equivalent to somebody dying for us? That's the conviction. Right. So the conviction for me was that, okay, shut that up. You ain't did nothing. You did what a human could do. You'll never do what I can do for somebody. Right. So that made me take responsibility for, okay, where can I be better? It's happened. The divorce is filed. It's happening. It's in motion. There's nothing I can do about it. So for me, it was just like, okay, what are the areas where you sucked? What are areas where you dropped the ball? What are the areas where you can do better? It made me look at me in the mirror and take accountability for my actions.
Now, my question, because it's funny how I don't care what episode, like we talk all the time and we talk about so much stuff that it's almost hard to miss talking about something on the podcast that we haven't recently discussed.
Right.
Knowing what your Achilles heel is as a man, as a believer.
Correct.
We also pride ourselves, us two specifically, on being people who can self-assess.
Absolutely.
Typically, if I'm off, if there's something wrong, I don't need somebody to tell me because I know, like I can feel it, like I can sense it. How do you, even with that conviction, healthily look at yourself, especially in the midst of all the hell you're going through, to say, I did this, I did X, Y, and Z. I was expecting a result that maybe is far reaching or you know, not realistic.
Absolutely.
To say, what can I do to do better, given the fact that you may have not even did anything wrong per se.
Right. At the end of the day, whether it be a loss or whatever it is that you experience in your life where you need to do this self-evaluation. If the loss is a loss, it's gone. You still have to stay with you for the rest of your life.
Right.
Whether it be a job or a relationship, whatever, if it's gone, it's gone. But you still have there's power in getting up.
Absolutely.
Listen, I can't. Job, after the first test of the enemy, says he got up and prayed. After David and Bathsheba, they lost their child. It said David got up and prayed. There is power in simply getting up and functioning and looking at yourself every day, even when it hurts.
Right.
People ask me what divorce feels like. Divorce feels like being kicked in the stomach by a horse that nobody can see, and you still have to stand up straight and function. Because you still have responsibility. If somebody wants to know what a divorce feels like, it's that.
Yes. Even for the worst of situations.
Even for the worst situations.
Somebody said, I forgot who it was, Miles Monroe or somebody, I could be wrong, but he said, divorce is worse than a physical death. Because in a physical death, there's finality. In a spiritual death like marriage, you still have to get up and face yourself and that person in some capacity every day of your life.
Absolutely.
Because let's not forget that you're tying souls together. You become one with this person. So that's why even in the worst of situations where it may be better that y'all are apart, it still hurts deeply. That is a great analogy. One of the things that like people don't know is the internal struggle that I dealt with for months leading up to it. Like the final where I knew in my heart and my mind, Anthony, in myself, I know as a believer, all you can do is get up and stand. And when you've done all you can do to stand firm, then again, you still get to the end of yourself where I was alone. And I sat in my car. I literally sat in my car and I felt like I had nobody. I felt lost. I was afraid. I was hurt. And I wasn't even hurt for myself as much. I was hurt for the failure that I felt like it came along with not having a quote unquote successful marriage. But I also struggled with, well, how are people going to view me? How is the church going to, treat me? And let's not be mistaken. People did treat me different. A lot of relationships were never the same as a result of that. But you're alone. And the only person you have there is God. And I talked to my pastor and I'm not making this up. I felt like, and it makes sense if you can follow me. It says that marriage mirrors the relationship between Christ and the church. Christ suffered before the cross so much that they say he sweat blood. And he asked the Father, if this cup should pass from me. I literally felt, in a way, I'm not Jesus, I'm not being weird. I felt so much agony from the thought of breaking that up. Because you have to think, what does that mean for your family dynamic? What does that mean for my one child that I had at the time? you as a man, typically most men are thinkers. So I've been thinking about all of these things over and over, month after month, as I'm trying to prepare myself. And at the same time, having to come home and look at somebody and go through the motions, I felt like as if I could have sweat blood. So it's a lot that goes into it, and the fallout from broken relationships and people, even for the most mature person, even for the person that could read themselves like a book, you can be in no man's land. And the fallout from it was multiple mistakes being made, horrible relationship after horrible relationship, not because people were bad, but because I was broken. And because all I could see was all the things that were ever done to me.
Right.
See, that's where we have to start taking accountability for ourselves. If you keep being in bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, how many times has somebody really said, you know what, it's me?
Wow.
It could just be me and my stinking thinking, and me and my unwillingness to drop my pride, or to not be selfish, or to humble myself, or to love or receive love. Most of the issues with people like me who've never had a father figure or a consistent godly mother figure in my life is that we don't know how to receive love. When my daughter, I got a 8-month-old and a 2-year-old. You tell them you love them all the time. You affirm them. They learn to receive love before they could talk. But when you are put in a position where you can't do that, then it starts to make some very imperfect teenagers and men that don't know how to treat people, that don't know how to receive love from somebody. So when somebody does something, you're standoffish, or you think it's something, it means something that it doesn't mean. So we have to be very careful when we are in relationships, when we're wanting to become one with somebody, when we want to share a bloodline with people, that we understand all of these things, that we help ourselves get better and mature. Because if we don't, we end up being 30, 40, 50 years old, broken relationship after broken relationship. Like Randy said, nobody wants to deal with you. Nobody wants to talk to you. You're the angry, bitter person that sits on the back row.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. And you got to deal with you every day. Even in the confines of a relationship, you got to deal with you on your worst day. Be honest about who you are and where you are. At the end of the day, Randy will tell you, I'm jacked up. I got some stuff that I deal with up here that sometimes I hate that my mind even goes there. I even hate the fact that I can dwell in two different environments well.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know you and be honest about that. You're going to exhaust yourself fighting yourself. I went back to Romans 7, man. I went and I studied Paul fighting himself. Remember, I told you that I don't always, when I go to the word, man, I don't always go and read about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because Jesus was God. Sometimes I need to read about some regular people who felt regular things. So I'll go read about Paul, I'll go read about David, I'll go read about Joseph. And so, man, I went and looked at this war with itself, man, and the fleshly mindset, and then the mindset of being in the spirit and all the stuff like that, man. At the end of the day, so we stay on topic, man. Deal with you. Because one thing I've never been able to do is control the actions of another.
Mm-hmm.
If you're waiting, there is Daniel says, if you're waiting on somebody to apologize to you for your own healing, then you're basing your own healing on their growth.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, some people never grow. And you're running and risking your own growth waiting on somebody else. So you may fall into the trap of somebody that you've hurt, and you may never grow because you're waiting on somebody else to grow and apologize. Mm-hmm. If they say I'm sorry, you still hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Just heal. One of the greatest things, and Anthony has experienced what he's experienced in life, but I've heard him be honest and transparent about his shortcomings and stuff that he's experienced. And it allowed me to be able to move differently in my season of going through divorce. I was divorced in December. I was in counseling by January.
Yeah.
I was going through painful things. I've seen people go through things in life who left the church temporarily trying to deal with it. I showed up every Sunday and Thursday and continued to serve for a reason. It hurt. I knew people were talking. I knew people wasn't feeling nothing in their spirit. They had heard someone they wanted to come be nosy. I showed up anyway for a reason, because I've seen people leave the church because they went through something and then show back up to the church like somebody owes them something.
Right.
But they owe you nothing.
That's a lack of growth, a lack of maturity.
I'm finna face this every day. If I have an uncomfortable conversation with my pastor who I look up to, who guides me, I know he loves me, I'm showing back up the next Sunday.
Absolutely.
I'm not running from it.
That's it.
Why would he take the time to tell me something about me? I'm showing up anyway. Deal with you.
Yeah. See, because it's something you said that I did for years, and I think it's important that we deal with it directly, because there's something very dangerous about being able to exist in two different environments. There's something very deceptive about being able to be a chameleon. I prided myself on being able to go sit at this table and be able to interact and sit at this table and be this type of person. And you're able to hide what's really going on in your life. Right. And you have to be able to choose who you are and what you want to be at some point to be able to ultimately get where you're trying to go. Right. I was in 2015 when my divorce was finalized. There was no way I felt like she was the problem. And all I needed to do was get away from her, and then I would be happy and I would be healed and I would be restored. And you could ask the next 4 females that I dealt with if that was the truth. Because guess what? They became the problem.
Wow. Tell the truth, man.
Absolutely. See, as men especially, we are able to dictate a lot of the times how the relationship is going to go. If you got anything going for yourself at all, you can dictate a relationship in a positive way, or a negative way. It totally depends on how you want to handle it and how mature you are. So to be able to go into counseling, or to be able to, I'll take a step back, to be able to have the hindsight to say, bruh, this is what I did vastly wrong in the process of getting to where I'm at, because this is 2021. I'm just now healthily in a relationship with we've been married for over a year now, but just now in a healthy relationship where I can receive love from her. Wow. And where we can have healthy dynamics. Now, there's not a lot, like nobody's beating each other, or there's not a lot of arguing at all, but to be in a place where something can go wrong or something negative can happen and my mind doesn't go left field and say, well, I'm finna. You know what I'm saying?
Stay there, Doc.
That's a growth that you need to have, because not every time your husband or wife comes home, the second one, or for some people the third or the fourth one, they're going to have the best day. So if you're going to internalize every issue that they've dealt with for the day, it could just be a bad day. Nothing negative to your relationship, but if you take in what that first, second, or third person did to you, you're never going to be able to heal. You're never going to be able to have a healthy relationship, and you're going to pass on bad things to your children.
Absolutely.
We have to learn how to cultivate healthy relationships outside of a spouse first. Me and Randy connecting and being connected as long as we have, sometimes we don't even be talking about nothing. We just be talking
a lot of the time.
We be talking a bunch of bull crap, and then we'll find our way into a dope conversation about something. And then we'll go right back to the bull crap, and that works for us. You get what I'm saying? But you need to have some people you can lay some stuff bare with.
Community.
But I'll tell you, one of the best things about our relationship is that I can't live in any space too long. Number one, he won't allow me to. Number two, I feel weird. Yeah. You got to be careful about the people that all y'all can do is sit around and talk bad all day. Talk negative. Talk about how much you hate this and how much this person always doing. I don't want to do that all day. And so cultivate healthy relationships with people that you love and you trust. Pray about it. Yeah. We're believers. So many times, like in something that Randy spoke about recently, is being able to go to God with things first. Bringing him every little thing. hey God, I would like to do this in my life. How do you, give me your input, speak to me, show me something, give me a sign. Hey, if I'm supposed to do this, let me know. Hey, if this person is right for me, we're talking just on a friendship level. Let it show. If it's not, then do the exact same on the opposite side. Like, show me that I need to get them out of my space. But what we don't need to do is be in the church and be the biggest gossipers continuously.
Right.
In ministry's sake.
Right.
No. We're not going to keep doing that.
Right.
Because in the last, like 4 to 6 weeks, I fell out with people for no good reason. I didn't do anything. But you have to understand when people are in your life for a season.
Yeah.
When you may have been put there just to implant something in them, and if they don't take it and run with it, and vice versa, then we got to part.
Right.
But what you can't do is, if you don't get better, if you don't learn from the things that God is trying to show you, because you're going to stand before him.
Right.
It ain't going to be me and Randy up there like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you about my boy real quick. It don't work like that.
Right.
I have to be accountable for me. So is it your fault?
Yeah.
Take fault. Like, just, man, one of the big things about being a man even
Ownership
is saying, hey,
Yeah.
I got it. It's on me.
Yeah.
I listened to Secret to Success. I listened to E.T. and they were talking about how he takes blame for stuff. He takes stuff on the shoulders that he didn't even do.
Facts.
But the fact that it's his company, and then he hired this person, or he attached himself to this person, and he allowed this person to hire this person, he says, you know what? I take fault for that. As men, we'll go a long way with our wives, with our spouses, with our children even, if we just say, you know what? That was on daddy.
Yep.
Maybe that was on me. I'll do better.
Yeah.
Let's find a way to grow and mature so that we don't have to stay in the same season for life. I'm still sitting on that Season Forsakers podcast where we talk about how God is going to take us through things over and over again until we get them, or until we die.
Yeah.
Because God can't elevate what he can't penetrate.
Wow.
If he can't get through to you, why is he going to put you in front of some other people? Just because he spoke to a donkey don't mean you, like, for real. So let's work at cultivating.
Yeah.
Men, let's work at cultivating. And I think that'll get us where we're trying to go. Absolutely. At the end of the day, what's the first thing that God said to Adam in the garden? He gave him first of all, he gave him responsibility. I'm sorry. But then he said, hey, this is your land. This is what you're responsible for. Take it, till it, make it better, water it, care for it. So we got to do the same thing with our relationships, with our children, with our spouses, with our friends. Don't be listen, in the church, divorce is large. I think it's larger than in the world at this point. That's the first thing. Number two, we have a reputation of being some of the most messy, gossipy people. We have no light, no joy within us. Consider your ways. Consider your circle. And then let's work at, let's work at bettering ourselves and the people around us. If you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. I've been hearing that a lot, and I actually love that saying.
That's dope.
So,
real quick, man, before we
sir.
wrap it up, man, I was going to say, man, so you'll see a lot of memes about little meme prayers that be like, Lord, dismiss who's not for me, or this, like all the stuff what you just discussed.
Right.
I'm going to challenge you to do this, though. But be prepared before you do it, because God's going to do it. Ask God to reveal yourself to you. Like, show me the secret thing that I've been moved, that's been attached to me for so long, that it's normal. We moving around with some bad habits that we had because we hung around our uncles and they had conversations around us that we shouldn't have been listening to. Yeah. But it's been living with us so long, bro, that it's just like,
it's what we do.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
So, and all that stuff gets revealed to you. And once it's revealed, it's on you. Those who are spiritual, who are attached to you, will begin to see it. Mm-hmm. And just listen to them. Ain't nobody told them your business. you got to trust that prayer got answered and you got revealed to you, and then you deal with that thing. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to hurt, but you're going to be better. Mm-hmm. There are certain things that we deal with as Christians that we operate and move in that we should honestly be disgusted by.
Right.
But it's the norm. It's just we downplay it. And we don't realize that thing is why we walk around feeling so heavy all the time.
Desensitized.
And we used to operate in heaviness.
Right.
It don't have to be that way, y'all. This is me talking to me.
My burden is easy. My yoke is light. I believe that's the correct quote for that.
Yeah, I want us to be just better people, man. As all myself included, I want to be I don't think I'm a bad person. I want to be a better person. I don't want to get to heaven, man, and God sit me down in the chair and show me the life I could have had if I would have went left instead of right here, or if I would have did here, or if I wouldn't apologize here, if I wouldn't have slipped up and did it. I don't want that. Right. While I'm here, I want to experience everything God to have. That way I can be a testament to what God can do through a broken creature. That was the only bit I was going to add about that, man. Sir. Pray to reveal you to you, man.
I think, and look, let me correct it again. I think it's my yoke is easy, my burden is light. I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments. But we do believe and read and you know what I'm saying, no Bible, but you know what I'm saying, I mean we perfect scholars out here, you know what I'm talking about. But no,
theologians.
Yeah, right, natural theologians. Yeah, man, but we glad to be back. Absolutely. And we glad to be chopping it up with the community, man.
Yeah, man. God bless y'all.
And with that being said, let's get into the question of the day.
There go.
And so, man, let's just let this be the come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Because the question is it your fault? Do you just need to accept the fault and just move forward and get better?
Wow.
You're talking to two people who have been very broken in portions of their lives, whether Absolutely. We even knew it or not. That's the crazy thing. Right. Sometimes you broken, you don't even know you broken. You just on autopilot because you're used to doing life a certain way.
Wow.
So, is it your fault? Number one. Number two, are you dealing with broken relationships right now? And if you are, what are you willing to do about it to get better? Because listen, what did you say? Walk around heavy? What did you say?
We walk around heavy for no reason.
Heavy for no reason. We supposed to cast our cares on the Lord, and that's not just a cool quote. We're literally supposed to cast our cares on him. So what are you willing to do, man or woman of God, to better yourself? To walk around with some freedom for once. Because a Christian not walking in victory ain't appealing to a soul.
That's it.
Ain't appealing to not a person, folks. So, listen, man, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wayne's World Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We want to be a safe haven for the believer. You know what I'm saying? And we want to connect with anybody who wants to connect with us. Listen, we are beyond, we definitely want to do calls of action and things of that nature. We do, because that's what you need to do. But we hope that you find value enough that you share, subscribe, like all those things on your own, gladly, because somebody needs to hear it. We thank you. We thank everybody who's been sharing and getting people and getting us new people. Like, I've been getting new followers and new subscribers without me having to do anything, which lets me know that the message is connecting and the people are doing what people do when they get value. And so, man, we love you. We thank you. We appreciate you for tapping in with the Wayne's World Podcast. You know how we end every podcast. Life is hard enough, so don't just live elevated. Until next week, we love you. May the Lord keep you. We'll see you at the conference. Peace.
That way.